Okay, this is lesson 1.15, and the learning goal today is to use what we know about place value to divide decimals by whole numbers. Let's take a look at this problem. Okay, we're going to do the standard algorithm as well as the place value chart. So go ahead and write 1.7 divided by 2 into your notebook and draw yourself a 3-column place value chart as well as the standard algorithm. Remembering that the dividend is the one that lives inside the house and the divisor is the one knocking on the door. Okay, if I'm going to draw some place value discs, how many discs do I need to draw in the ones column? Alex?
You need to draw 1.
Okay, 1. If I want to draw discs in the tenths column, how many do I need to draw? Lakshan?
You need to draw 7.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I want to draw discs in the hundredths column, how many do I need to draw? Itai? None. Okay. Now I want to split that into 2 groups. So if I look at my tenths, if I look at my ones, can I split that 1 into 2 equal groups? What does that mean I need to do? I need to regroup. So that 1 becomes how many tenths? 10. So if I count up all my tenths together, how many do I have altogether? Altogether I have 17. Now without drawing groups at the bottom, how many tenths could I get if I want to divide them into 2 equal groups? 17 divided by 2 is, what's the closest number you could get? Alina?
16.
Right, 16 divided by 2 is, so if I have 2 groups, I could put 8 in each group. So what I can do here, I knew I had 0 ones, but I can put 8 tenths in each group. Now when I put 8 tenths in each group, how many tenths did I use up? I can do 8 tenths times 2 to get how many tenths? 16 tenths. So how many tenths do I have left over? Yeah, so 17 minus 16 equals 1. And what can I do with that 1 tenth?
It's a remainder.
It's not a remainder. What can I do? Can I regroup it as hundredths?
Yes.
Yeah, that 1/10 could become how many hundredths? 10. So then, even though there's no 0 here, could I bring down a 0 and make it 10 hundredths?
Yes.
Is 1/10 the same thing as 10 hundredths? Let's take a look. Before, I had 1/10 left. If I add a 0 here, does that have the same value? Yeah. So I can think of it as bringing down and regrouping that 1 leftover tenth into 10 hundredths. Now if I have 10 hundredths, can I split those into 2 equal groups? How many hundredths would be in each group? 5 whats? 5 hundredths. So I could write 5 up here. And how many hundredths did we use up? By splitting those 10 hundredths into 2 equal groups, how many hundredths did we use up? We could do 5 times 2, which is 10 hundredths. And so the answer to 1.7 divided by 2 is 85 hundredths. Okay, so taking a look at this example, how many discs do I need to draw in the tens column to start out? Sporty? 1 disc. And how many discs do I need to draw in the ones column to set up my dividend? Sherilyn? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I want to divide it into how many groups? 4. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw my 4 groups down here. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. Now you can also see I've started to set up my standard algorithm. I have my dividend, 17, inside the house, and I have my divisor of 4 knocking on the door. Can I share this 1/10 equally amongst 4 groups? Do I have enough tens?
No.
What does that mean I need to do? Regroup or unbundle. If I do that, how many ones do I have all together? How many ones do I have now all together that I've traded my 1/10 for 10 ones? Arun? 17. So how many could go equally into each group? 4. If I put 4 in each group, that uses up 16 of them. So how many ones would I have left? Right, if I could cross out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and I have 1 left. On my standard algorithm, I could record that by saying 17 ones goes into 4 times, and I would use up 16 ones, and I would have 1 1 left over. What does that mean? Does that mean that that's the remainder? No, Jack. What do I need to do? I need to regroup. I can call this 1 1 how many tenths? 10. Okay, so I'm going to draw those 10 discs. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the same thing as brother bringing down 0 tenths. I can call this 1 1 or 10 tenths, can't I? Now that I have 10 tenths, how many times could I split that equally amongst 4 groups? Tara?
You can do it
2 times, yeah, let's see. I can move these 2 right here. I can move these 2 right here. I can move these 2 right here. And I can move these 2 right here. When I've done that, how many tenths have I used up? 8 tenths, because 2 times 4, or 2 tenths times 4 is 8 tenths. Right? So how many tenths do I have left over? Right, I have 1 right here and 2 right here. That means I have 2 tenths left over. What can I do with those 2 tenths? Ella, what can I do with those 2 tenths?
You could regroup them.
And then if I'm going to unbundle them and regroup them over here, they become what? 20 hundredths. That's the same thing as brother bringing down 0 hundredths. And instead of calling it 2 tenths, I now have 20 hundredths. See how that works? Now if I have 20 hundredths and I want to share them equally into 4 groups, how many hundredths would go into each group? Kevin? 5. And so I could record that in my hundredths place right there. And how many hundredths do I use up? 5 times 4 is 20 hundredths. And I don't have anything left over. So therefore, 17 divided by 4 is 4 and 25 hundredths.